HSR, Honkai Star Rail, where do I begin with this one? Well, from the very beginning, I was a fan of Honkai Star Rail. I remember seeing beta footage before the game had come out, and it was a turn-based Hoyo-made game. So that meant that it was going to be quality. They were going to have a bajillion dollars behind it. And I would say that even to this day, HSR is arguably a great game. I loved it. I loved it up until about 2.3, but I loved Yurillo. I loved the world building that they were setting up, with the countless possibilities for the future in the universe of Honkai Star Rail. But I loved it. I loved Yurillo. I loved Bronya's story. I even loved a little bit of the Luofu story, the Xianzhou, with the fucking, however you pronounce it. But I loved even that storyline as well, to a certain extent. Arguably, I'd say that the Xianzhou arc, I'd say that it was probably a little too long. I think it lasted a little too long, and I think a lot of people could agree with that. I remember when what's her name? Tingyun? I remember, dude, that's how long it's been since I actually played the shit out of this game. But I remember when Tingyun broke her fucking neck. That's where I felt like the game had kind of started turning, I guess. That patch was like an hour long. I mean, it might have been in the middle of COVID. I don't remember, really. I don't know. But it was an extremely short patch. It was like 1 hour story, Tingyun breaks her neck, GG. But long story short, that's where I started to feel like the story was kind of, you know what I mean? It was a good plot twist, don't get me wrong. But it was like, Jesus Christ, where's the content? But anyway, fast forward to Penacony. Penacony was peak. I'm not going to lie to you. Penacony was pure peak fiction, okay? I enjoyed it. And that's when it happened. Acheron, okay? Jesus Christ, the evolution of HSR's meta and everything, it's just been so crazy. And part of me feels like this was always the way it was going to turn out, because I've always felt like a little disappointed by HSR's gameplay. I feel like HSR has obviously been inspired by games like Trails or whatever, just like the old school traditional turn-based whatever games, you know, Octopath Traveler, da-da-da-da. But I feel like if it was going to use that combat system, why use it in the most bare bones of ways? You really only have your attack, your skill, and whatever crazy passive, whatever is going on with that shit these days, and the ultimate. And I feel like the game was always destined to turn out this way because of how, I don't want to say basic, but kind of how bare bones the combat system is in HSR. You know, and my enjoyment with HSR's combat, it waned pretty much at the end of Penacony. At that time, it was just like, dude, I'm starting to just kind of like get bored of it, you know? It was like, I might as well just auto every fight, you know? Whereas in Genshin or Wuwa, it feels like the combat just keeps you on the edge of your seat. And I don't want to say that as like a disrespectful nod towards traditional turn-based games, because I feel like I have infinitely more fun in Final Fantasy X's turn-based combat system than I do in HSR. You know, HSR's might be more pretty, but I'd rather have Final Fantasy X's combat system any day of the week. You know, I can go back and play the game 1,000,000 times over. But with HSR's combat, it just feels like for lack of a better word, it feels like a snooze fest. You know what I mean? And if you enjoy it, you enjoy it. You know, I'm not going to like shit on anybody else's opinion. If you like it, you like it. You know, this is purely an opinion video. There's nothing objective about it. You know? But anyways, I feel like the gist of it is that HSR's turn-based combat kind of, they took the most bare bones route that they could have, and that's what has led to the power creep situation that we have. Like, it was always destined to turn out this way, because what else can they do with the limited amount of combat stuff that they put in to their version of turn-based gameplay? That's number one. Number two, actually there's probably been a lot more numbers than 1 and 2 at this point. But anyway, power creep. Acheron, she was the peak. She's so peak. Dude, Acheron's such a peak character to this day. I grinded so hard during that patch to get her light cone. Free to play, by the way. I didn't spend any money to get her light cone. And obviously her. Super sick character. And then they decided to release everything afterwards. And that's kind of when they lost me. And I could tell you when it happened. It was when Penacony ended and they started releasing Super Break teams. And I didn't want to play Super Break teams. I wanted to play Blade. But Blade sucked balls, man. You know what I mean? It was... he sucked. And eventually they ended up, patching Blade up. Through various ways, including other characters like Robin and all the other characters that he uses these days. But it was really disappointing to know that, like, dude, I had to play Super Break, and and nowadays it's even more restrictive. Like, I have to pull every unit. Oh, and if I want to play Blade, well, guess what? You have to pull for one unit. Oh, you got to pull for Blade. Oh, you got to pull for Robin now. Oh, you got to pull for Sunday. Oh, you got to pull for Tribby. Oh, you gotta pull for Aventurine. Like, dude, it really feels like the game has drowned me. And let me tell you something. The title says why I quit HSR, but I didn't quit recently. I quit, like I said, at the end of Penacony, and I've only come back literally like 2 days ago, and that kind of inspired me to make this video. It's been a wild ride with HSR, and I think that, again, if you like the game, you like the game. I still think the game's very good. I just think that I had my moment where I split ways with it. Will I ever come back to HSR? Maybe. But again, I think the power creep is so severe in that game to the point where, like, if I come back to the game at this point, it's like I'm starting at the beginning of Mount Everest. And the thing is, with Mount Everest, it stays the same size forever. But with HSR, the mountain keeps actually getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, oh, well, if I pull one character I like in these future patches, what's the safety in that? Because they're going to be power crept. Oh, if I pull for that character, I'm going to have to pull for 2, 3, 4 more characters just for them to be power crept. It really sucks because I actually really enjoyed HSR. I remember I would sit on Urillo and I would just listen to the overworld music while I was doing other stuff. And I would just imagine the future of the game. And I did not expect it to turn out the way that it did. Now, I do understand that the Amphoria stuff, I heard that it was peak. I heard there's a lot of yapping, but listen, I'm a One Piece fan. I'm a sucker for slow burns, okay? And a fanfic reader on top of that. An AO3 native. So, like, listen, I understand slow burns. But from what I heard, it's peak. But is it enough to turn me back into the game? I don't know. And that's the thing that sucks, is that I really, really enjoyed HSR. I told people, like, yo, this is the one. This is the one, man. If you haven't played any other game, like, play this one because it doesn't even feel like it's a gacha game. Like, you don't have to partake in the gacha to experience the story. And to me, the biggest part of HSR is its story. Because it's most definitely not its combat. That's for sure. At least not for me. So yeah, that's how I feel about HSR. We talked about the turn-based systems and kind of how disappointing they are to me. The power creep. Oh my god. Can we talk about the Lofu designs? The character designs. Every woman has the same type of garb on. Like, they have the same outfit on, but in different colors. I was so exhausted of the Lofu characters by the end of it. And then on top of that, by Fei Xiao's release, we had to go back to the Lofu. It was kind of ridiculous. I was tired, bro. Every Lofu character's dresses look the same. Obviously, it's because they're from the same region, and I get it. But dude, I was tired. Bro, put the Lofu outfit in the bag at this point, because you know that's what they were gonna give you. You know, a new woman character's coming out. It's another Lofu character. They're all really, really, really cool characters. They all just have like similar dresses, I suppose. Did you know what also really killed it for me in like my anticipation of coming back? This was a sign of the end times when I saw it on my recommended. There's this one person who does Arlen main 0 cycles. Arlen, you guys remember that character from the beginning of the game's life when the game was peak? That person posted a video saying that they were doing their final Arlen 0 cycle. And you want to know what they said? Chat, do you want to know what they said? They said this game was Honkai support rail. And they were spitting facts. It's so sad, man. Like, if I want to pull a character I like, I have to guaranteed pull for 2, 3, 4 more characters. And I was looking on the Reddit, because I pay attention to leaks and all that stuff. I'm in the loop with a lot of these things. I just haven't played the games, like Genshin or whatever. Like, I'm always in the loop of what's going on, even if I'm not playing it. And I saw someone say, like, if you haven't invested in Castoris at this point, you might as well just wait for the next region. And it's like, dude, man. HSR, bro. The story is still peak. You know, there's, like, you need to play the game with a wallet. I'm going to tell you that right now. Because how I feel about that game is that I'm drowning. I feel like I'm drowning in HSR. And if I come back now, yeah, you get freebies, right? They give you Archer, which I appreciate. They give you another version of Don Hung. Like, you know, they just shit out Don Hungs and Marches whenever they feel like it at this point. But I'm not going to be mad. They're free characters. Except for Evernight, Dark March. I don't know, man. I still think that the game is good. And I still think that is enjoyable. But it's enjoyable if you have your wallet out. Or if you're a story-only player. I don't know, man. I will always have love for HSR, but to me, I feel like they missed out on a couple of things. I feel like they could have done better with the turn-based system. I feel like the power creep was always going to end up this way. Regardless, I think HSR is a great game. Will I return to it? Maybe, if like there's a character I'd go head over heels for, but to me, HSR will always be the game that could have been. And for a lot of people, they don't feel that way. Like, again, this is just a purely opinionated video. I'm just a guy on the internet. There's nothing going on here. It's just a dude with a microphone. I'll always have love for HSR and how I felt during that first year, the first year and a half. I don't know. I don't look at it with that same magic anymore, but maybe one day I will return. Maybe I'll stream it. Maybe I'll make a video on it as a redemption. But I don't know. Regardless, have a good one.